Do you feel like you belong at work? And what does that actually mean? It's not like you're being openly discriminated against, but there is just this feeling that maybe you don't fit in the workplace. Maybe you've seen a culture of insider and outsider, and you feel that you're sitting on the periphery. You're the outsider, you're being excluded. So, what I'm going to go through today in this video is what does belonging mean? And what are 3 ways to grow your sense of belonging at work so that you can have the impact and the career that you want? So, what is belonging? Belonging, when it comes to company culture, they will say that, they respect all people from all backgrounds, they don't discriminate, they're a equal opportunity employer. And so companies have embedded this into their job descriptions, into their company values, the behaviors that they would expect from their employees and leaders to make sure that, however, they've drawn the sandbox around belonging is actually practiced. And then on the personal side, I've been hearing something different. What I've been hearing a lot from my clients is that oftentimes they don't speak up because they don't feel a sense of belonging. So that made me really think about what does belonging actually mean? Because the companies are saying one thing, they're saying they're open, they're inclusive, they are an employer of choice. Meanwhile, some of my clients who are working for really large companies who are the best at what they do still don't feel that sense of belonging. And I reflect on my own personal experiences as well because I could say that I have been on both sides. I feel like an outsider when I'm excluded from conversations, when I don't feel like I have the opportunity to grow or to make an impact in the work that I'm doing. And more so when I don't feel like I have influence. So when I am left out of decision making, or when I'm not invited to the room and I just get handed down direction, and or when I am micromanaged, it's not a nice feeling. And eventually my motivation just faded and I've become more of an outsider because it didn't feel like anything that I was doing was going to change my sense of belonging in this company. On the flip side, I've had some wonderful experiences with a few employers where I felt my impact. I was trusted, I grew, I was recognized. And so the 3 things that I would drill down to when it comes to that sense of personal belonging are impact, trust, and influence. So to grow your sense of belonging or to feel like you can fit in more, look at the impact that you are delivering within your workplace. You probably got into your line of work because you're passionate about it. Or, like me, it was a bit of a coincidence, but I found my passion within the work that I was doing. I found a purpose. I had a mission that I was delivering on. And sometimes we often forget what that mission is. So take a step back and really think about your values. What do you stand for? And how does that match up to your career and to your current employer? Your impact is when there is alignment with your values and what you're doing and how others are receiving it. And so when you don't feel a sense of impact, it could be those 3 aspects. Do you understand what you're doing? Have you lost sense of your purpose? And if so, take a step back and define it. You can journal it, you can think about it, you can write it out in any way that is most comfortable for you, but go back to that original sense of feeling of what made me want to do this in the first place. What am I passionate about? What do I hope to improve? How do I want to change other people's lives? And once you have anchored yourself back into your own personal values, then you can look at the next layer. Is the work that I'm doing actually helping me deliver on my values? So if that's a yes, that's great. That means through the work that you do day in and day out, you're able to deliver on your passion, on your values. And if not, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change your careers, but what it could mean is that you need to find other ways to find joy in your work. And it could be the tiny things. It could be the team that you're with, the people that you're mentoring, the leaders that you get to work with. So it doesn't have to be the actual vocation itself, but it could be the environment that you're in. It could be the microculture that you're in. So there could be many different ways that you can align yourself to the work that you're doing that doesn't require a career change. And then the last aspect of impact is then how are other people receiving your value? So are you getting recognition? Are you getting to work on the projects that you're most passionate about? Are you being tapped on to do the work that you love and you know you're great at? And if not, really think about the reasons. So is it your direct leader? Is it your company culture? Is it a peer that you're working with? So if it's individuals or a few players that's really ruining the experience for you, there are ways to amend this. It would include all the things that you have self-control over, such as giving feedback, inserting yourself into the conversation differently, articulating the value that you bring in situations where you feel that it's not being received well. And if it's not just a few key people, and it's more around your company culture, your values, then perhaps it's time to consider a different opportunity, which is easier said than done. But as I've shared, there are many, many different stops that you can make along the way before you make that decision for yourself. Then the second aspect of a sense of belonging is trust. So are you trusted? You can't possibly feel good when you are micromanaged, if you are being questioned for every single move that you make. And there are two sides to this. It could be that you're working with someone or a team of people who are just control freaks and they love just knowing every single aspect of what you have to do or what is happening. They like making all the decisions and you are there to play a role, which is just execution. And you know that that's the company values because everyone, including yourself, is stuck in that sense of feeling. But if not, if you are one of the outsiders in that situation, then how you need to really assess your trust is through three different things. The first one is around your credibility. So which is, are you actually good at what you do? Are you performing? Are you truly that subject matter expert that you claim to be? Are people coming up to you because you know the answer to certain areas of the business and or you give them a direction of where they need to go if you are not? So are you expressing your credibility? The second aspect to building trust is your reliability. So how often do you follow through? Hopefully it's 100% of the time. So when you say that you're going to deliver on something and you don't, then that's going to erode people's trust. And I have a great video that I will link for you somewhere to help you say no when you're already overloaded. And then the third aspect is your connection with other people. So are you building relationships in a way that's going to build trust? And that goes beyond the workplace, so beyond credibility and reliability. So do you take the time to actually understand who these people are, what they enjoy doing outside of work? Are you building a relationship with these people on a personal and intimate level? And is that being reciprocated? How open are you in sharing more about yourself and your life so that there is a common bond in that relationship? So if you're feeling like an outsider and you don't feel like you're being trusted, look at these three factors: credibility, reliability, and your connection with others, and see what aspect might be missing for you. And then when you have impact and you have trust, the third factor around feeling that sense of belonging is whether or not you're in that circle of influence. So what that looks like is that you start to feel like that insider. People are coming up to you, people know you, your impact is visible. People aren't making any decisions without your point of view being considered. And you could say, well, that seems like it's more for executives when you're being invited to the table. I would counter that by saying your circle of influence can start anywhere. It could be within your own team. It could be the volunteer committees that you sit on. It could be with your mentors. And ultimately, that circle of influence helps you grow your career. So how do you grow your circle of influence? So number one, you do have to tap into the first two factors that I talked about, impact and trust. But the third way is through your authentic presence. And what I mean by authentic presence is, are you self-advocating? And this isn't being self-promotional or having to brag about how great you are, but really going back to that impact Do you understand yourself? Do you understand your values? Are you expressing your values beyond just actions? Are you sharing your values openly? How often do you speak up in defending yourself and or sharing why you have made a certain decision? So then this is how it ties into my program that I am building for quiet professionals, because oftentimes my clients will tell me, I don't like being self-promotional. So I never talk about anything. I don't share my thinking. I don't brag about anything. I only put a spotlight on my team. So we have to reframe that. We have to really think about self-advocating differently. At the end of the day, it's about advocation. So it is about sharing who you are. What do you advocate for? What are the values that are true to you? And if you were to think about 10 people in your professional network, could they say, this is what you stand for? And that brings me to the second aspect of your authentic presence, which is really having other people know you. And I know I talked about this in the trust factor in building connections with others, but this is really amplifying it to have other people understand your values. So how are you thinking? If they were to go into a room to defend a decision that was made for a team, would those decisions align back to your values? And at the end of the day, if a project went sideways, will you have sponsors in the room to help defend why certain decisions were made because they understand your decision-making style that is in alignment to who you are and your values that are being brought to the table? Or are they likely just to throw you under the bus? So to tap into your circle of influence, again, it's impact, trust, and making sure that your authentic presence is being heard and felt with everyone that you are working with. So those are the 3 ways in which you can grow your sense of belonging at work. At the end of the day, it's going to help you speak up, be seen, be heard, and be promoted. And if you want information on how to do that, I do have links below to my group coaching program where you can explore more. You can also book a 15-minute meet and greet with me to chat more about the position that you're in. And I am more than happy to give you some key actions that you can start taking today. And if speaking up at work is one thing that you're developing, I do have a playlist that I will link for you that you can watch next. I will see you in the next video.